Hi, guys, and welcome to Podcasts Full of Women. Yay!
Hey, kitty.
Loki.
Wait,
I have Loki.
I have something to show.
Show me.
Aries, come here. Aries, your dog. Come back here. He's like growling at me. Aries, be sweet.
Oh my God, he's like, put me down, don't ever talk to me again. Oh, Aries. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen Aries in so long, like on your Instagram, but that's like, I miss him.
Aries.
He's like the only, guys, seriously, he's like the only chihuahua I like. I'm not even kidding. He's like the best chihuahua.
He truly is
He's
Aw, thank you.
Oh, look.
Thank you.
Lick me. Loki's like, dear God, what am I doing? Yeah, we've got
like pop, 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 pop.
Pop, 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 meow, meow, skitty, scat, scat, meow, meow. Cool, that's all. So welcome to the podcast, everyone. If you haven't left already, you have not left us already.
Yes.
You know, thanks for hanging in. It's another good week to be here with Linz. We're still, we still haven't been in the same room. It's still been quite a long time, and it's still been quite a week.
Totally.
But we're glad to be back.
You look fire AF right now, though. I feel like
I'm just gonna drop my new fucking single, like living my truth.
I feel like your single would be called Dope.
It would be called Dope. It would be exactly dope. Yeah, I think it would be perfect. Yeah, these look orange now because of this, but these are pink actually. So I'm just like getting all the colors up in here. I'm not afraid.
They look great. And is that a vision board behind you?
Yes, that's my vision board. It's 4 different vision boards. They were kind of categorized by like career, self-reflection, travel, and then like enjoyment, like
sexual exploits,
life's little pleasures. Yeah, just it's all porn. So that's why that one is blurred out. For anyone who's watching, that's why that corner is blurred out.
I love that for you.
You know,
just a porn vision board. Bitch, maybe I need to make one of those.
Oh, snap. Yeah, no, it's kind of worked out for me. But anyway, that's not what we're here. We're not here about my latest single, Dope. Dope. We're here to continue this important conversation that we started last week. It was so important that we were like, we need to keep going. There's so much facts being spit right now. And it's a really important conversation to have.
And so many great book recommendations.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm trying to look at what she said last time. I wrote them all down.
My Grandmother's Hands was one of them.
That sounds like something I should have read a long time ago. I think it's really important. And as allies, we need to be more up on our literature and our history. And so I think that was what was great about part 1. And I can't wait for people to hear part 2 and learn even more, because I learned a lot. And I know that anyone can learn something from this. Even in the darkest times, we need to learn and listen.
Totally.
Yeah.
And maybe listen to a podcast full of women. And this woman,
I agree,
is Dominique Nispiros.
Thank you, Dom. We're so glad to have you. And I think you guys are going to love part 2 after the jump. Enjoy.
Hello, this is stand-up comedian Gianmarco Ceresi. Indoor dining has partially reopened in New York, but a lot of the comedy clubs say they can't operate at 25% capacity, even though I've never seen them do otherwise. So if you need your comedy fix, check out my new album, Shelf Life, now available on Pandora.
And where can people follow you, Dominique?
I love that. Yeah,
I'm on Instagram at Dom Loves Life. You can also look at my work online at dominiquecomedy.com. Or, just like shine the bat light of racial injustice and I'll be like shaking my fist from afar.
Yeah. Podcast City!
Yo, I'm saying, I love you, Lindsay. You're my homie, but I'm like, My list is full. My dance card is full, and I don't need any more allies. Y'all need to be in the streets with me. I need fucking I need ratchet bitches with crowbars.
Well, you don't see it on this, but I have no pants. No, I'm just kidding. I'm ready to go.
Yeah,
so
I'm serious. I need white co-conspirators. I need some folks who are like
done
doing the work and not just posting whack ass Instagram whatever. That's real.
That's
real.
For sure.
Real talk.
For sure. I'm so appreciative of you, and I feel like you have been a beacon of change and hope in our community, and when I say our community, I mean like our comedy community, but also just like in the community of the gals I know who I like and respect. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie that this week I've been like checking people's profiles to see if they posted anything. I told Dominique this on the phone earlier, but like I am petty as shit. So like I have an app who tells me who unfollows me.
And Jesus, I don't even want to know who unfollows me.
I like to know,
but
I like to know who's dead to me. I'm just, it's not on that level, but it is sort of, but like, especially in moments like this week where I posted a lot about the Georgia election. I posted a lot.
Oh, right. I'm
calling
sure you can
people
see the fall
that
off. Yeah.
And I lost 300 followers this week. And honestly, I don't give a shit about that. The door can hit you where the good Lord split you on your way out. I literally don't care. But it's like, I literally have a list on my phone in this app of like 300 all white people who are just not comfortable with the things I was posting. And some
We'd
of them
hate to see it.
That's just so crazy.
They would hate for me to tag them in it. In my Instagram stories.
At them, Lindsay, at them.
At their moms.
I've honestly thought about doing this, but I'm like, am I this petty? Or like, I had an idea for
you keep saying petty, but I don't think you are.
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, should I dox them? Should I not dox them? But for some people, I was telling Dom, like, it's people who I expected, like boys I went to high school with or boys I went to college with. But the things I was surprised with are fellow producers here in New York City, production companies who I've worked with and I follow. So it's stuff like that where I'm like, bitch, you hire people.
What the fuck?
You choose people to pay and work on these big film jobs. So you're telling me you don't think those people are terrorists? You're telling me you think it's okay?
It's cool.
Here's why you're not petty. And I fucking stay captain of team petty. I am the CEO,
all day, every day.
founder, and I use it. Right.
Petty Betty. Right here.
I'm a user of my own petty products. This is why it's not petty, right? Because we are witnessing a moment of fascist extremism.
Yes.
That endangers the lives of all of us, especially Black and brown people in America, right? Like, that's not a fucking abstract thing. So if you are not able to, if your consciousness, if your imagination is not able to see and connect the dots on that, that is a problem. And secondarily, if you're on some whack ass shit posting about your trip to the animal farm being like, we shall overcome, I'm like, okay, white man, we shall overcome, but do you understand the panic, sadness, fear, and disgust that some people are experiencing right now? And like, that's some like good vibes only white supremacy right there.
It really is. It really is. Crystal healing. My parents pay for my apartment, but I'm living. Like, what?
Fuck that bubble.
Shut the fuck up.
That bubble does not need to exist.
Yeah.
The bubble for me and my homies who are like legitimately, who have been like queer bashed and beaten by Trump supporters, like, they don't need that in their life because they've already have that literally physically threatening their very existence, their lives. Their lives are on the line.
Yeah.
And it is revealing to me who of my white homies understand their fates as deeply intertwined with the fates of Black and brown people. And you mentioned that I'm a beacon in the community. Thank you. I love that. It is not what I am trying to do in the least. What I am trying to do is survive and liberate myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I am deeply invested in my own liberation.
Yep.
I am deeply invested in decolonizing my body, right? I am healing trauma and pain that is intergenerational from fucking colonialism.
Right.
Like, that's not abstract.
No.
There is evidence that, like, experiencing trauma triggers all kinds of epigenetic changes in the body. And it does that for Black and brown people. And it also does that for white people. And I'm like, what are the epigenetic things happening after 200 years of white supremacy in the United States? What do you have to be able to do in your body to beat, degrade, violate, harm, and torture Black and brown people?
Yeah.
And then legalize it and then keep doing it and then make it okay for police to do? What is happening in the bodies of white people that makes them able to perpetuate violence, to witness it, and to disregard it? Like, what is happening? And that's where I'm like, there's work to be done there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it. I pray for other people to do it too.
Yes.
And then at the end of the day, I'm like, I'll unfollow you with a quickness, bitch. No, you're dead.
Bye. No time. Well, like, that's the thing. We shall prevail. Like, how enabling is that? Just to enable this system to keep on moving forward. We shall shut up. Like,
that's kind of why I'm like,
shut up.
Don't get mad at 2021. Do you think
No.
things change without action? Like, calendar days do not equal change.
No.
Yeah.
Footsteps
No.
do. Yeah.
Yeah.
For
I'm
sure.
on a
Action. Please.
Action. I've not that like
action.
It's fucking crazy. And when we talk about like things that are ingrained in us, things that we experienced growing up, you know, growing up in the South, I remember when we first moved from North Carolina to Georgia. So I would have been 6, and my mom talked to us in the car driving to Georgia about racism. Like, I was 6, my sister was 3. And she said, we're moving to a place where people are very closed-minded, and you're going to hear people say things. And if you don't confront them about it, they're going to think you believe the same thing, and you don't. And if you don't confront people about that stuff, it's like lying. So if you ever hear things that people say that you feel like are wrong, you need to tell them it's not okay. And like, all these people posting during Black Lives Matter last summer about like, I'm going to talk to my kids about racism. Like, my parents talked to us about racism our whole lives.
Yeah.
And I could not help but see racism everywhere growing up in South Georgia. It's everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere in Richmond too, where I was in Maryland, but I grew up in Baltimore, but then I moved to Richmond, Virginia.
It's not even something that people try to hide. It's where people say the N-word in front of you, like you are not going to be upset by it. And it's something that just everyone acts like it's normal. And I always was extremely upset about it, and sometimes unpopular with people, because I just would get so angry with people, especially in high school. I went to private school, and we had 3 Black students in my entire high school. And just people would just say shit all the time. Even our teachers would say things that were not okay. And my parents would write letters to them, and they would go, well, we're a private school. We don't have to adhere to what would happen in a public school or be taught in a public school. And it's something that is ingrained in me, where even with, and this is my own experience, that like when people remotely joke about race or racism or anything, I don't find it remotely funny, because it makes me so uncomfortable, because I know so many people who are actually racist, excitedly racist, that it just is like, it's not even something, you know, I know like a lot of comedians are like, you should be able to do comedy about anything or joke about anything, but I just don't feel like that. It makes me very upset.
Okay. That's a very stupid thing that stupid comedians say, and here's why, right? Like that, like you should be able to make jokes about anything. Here's my take. Yes, but not you. And also, it depends on the fucking joke, you dumb motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly.
Because people say that all the time, and I'm like, fuck you. I will fight motherfuckers. You know this. But I saw someone.
Let me plug in my computer here. Hold on.
Thank you. I'll wait for you to see that. I saw a post by a comedy club in Berlin where I had done stand-up. I'm not going to plug them, fuck them. And they were like, make comedy funny again. And I was like, do you realize two things? Don't quote a fascist dictator's like mantra. Like don't put that out in the air. And also, that's the hack-ass, wackest bullshit I've ever fucking seen. Right? Because it's like, you know who's been making fucking great comedy that didn't have black people at the butt of their jokes? Black people. There's nothing inherently fucking different about the ability to make jokes that don't hurt people. Right?
Exactly.
So I'm also going to push back on, like, I think it's great to make jokes about race and racism as long as you are making fun of the racism and not a person. Right? Like, it's like,
don't make problem, not adding to the problem.
Yeah. And it's like, I love making jokes about race and racism. I will tell you, like, I will go very far in defense of a sketch I wrote called White Hamilton that was about, and it's going to happen. There's going to be an all-white production of High School at a motherfucking high school. I should also, Lindsay, help me produce this now that I've put it out on the internet. Someone's going to take this idea.
I'm in.
Okay. But like, that's some shit. But when I took that sketch to a mod team, some folks were like, are you making fun of actors? And I'm like, no, I'm making fun of white supremacy. But you're so sensitive to how you see yourself in it, right? Or how you feel like you might not think that, maybe you didn't think this was a bad thing, but it is a bad thing and it shouldn't happen. And now you're feeling like, like that tightness, right? That thing that I was talking about. But how do you work through that, right? How do you work through that to be supportive of like a brown comedian trying to make a point about white supremacy? It's not about you as a white individual, but you function in a system of white supremacy. And that's the difference, right? I don't get to be seen as an individual. And talking about discourse, America stays stunting on individualism. But it is only accessible. It's only accessible to white men.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the thing about these fucking terrorists, right? Like, they don't see themselves as part of a group. They're individuals whose individual rights are infringed and they don't want to wear masks. And how dare you tell me, the individual?
Jesus Christ. I mean, the mask wearing thing is just unreal. And it's like, wow, you guys were so upset when people were kneeling in a sports game.
Yeah.
You were more upset about that than what just happened.
Right. Because when you exist at the pinnacle of privilege and deeply invested and benefiting from toxic white supremacy, it's like you don't see yourself as part of that. You just see yourself as an individual. So it's so wild to me that they talk about like individual snowflakes, and I'm like, y'all are the ones who are hell-bent on being not part of a group, because all I'm seeing is a bunch of angry ass white men. Like,
do you see the guy who had the horns hasn't eaten since they took him to prison because he only eats organic? Do you remember the guy from
the Caucasian?
No, we know. We know. I just don't know what to say. I just am like,
I was like, do you not remember the guy with the horns?
No, I remember. I just am like, oh wow, you only put organic things in your body, you fucking psychotic piece of shit.
And the top comment on Reddit was snowflake.
Yeah, well, at least the shit he smeared on the walls was probably like clean, but still, you know what I'm saying? Like, fuck him.
This fucking, all these people.
Also, those horns, give me a break, bro. Like, give me a break. Also, that nipple tat, I can't. Anyway, sorry, I'm being petty about it.
Is he the guy from Brooklyn? Because there was also like
that guy was different. That guy in the photo they kept sharing, he was sitting on a bench hiding behind a police clear plastic shield. I don't know if you saw that one.
Yeah.
But he's the a Brooklyn Supreme Court judge's son.
Yeah.
Cool. He's you've had a rough time.
You hear him talk on camera, and he seems a bit touched, as they would say in Ireland.
Oh, okay. Or the South.
Or the South, we would just say, bless his heart.
Bless his heart.
He's one French fry short of a Happy Meal.
Damn.
I'm not sure. I mean, I haven't seen the footage, so I wonder if that's the case. But or is it that thing where they say like a lone wolf shooter has a mental illness when they were just like racist and murderous?
Sure.
Is it that?
He's probably a full-blown racist and piece of shit, but might also have something else.
Okay.
But yes, but you know what? Who knows? Who also fuck him. So
my mom was a high school special ed teacher, and she had emotionally disturbed and people on the spectrum and stuff like that. And multiple times she had students who were like, "I'm gonna shoot up the school," and mom would have to like tell the principal, and they would get put in alternative school. So
that's the other thing too that really gets me about white supremacy is like how it does not materially benefit white people at all.
No,
it doesn't. And in fact, it's such a good way where, you know, it's I'm not like pulling this out of nowhere. Like in the colonies, it wasn't exactly a system of like segregated slavery like that. There were white indentured servants as well.
Mm-hmm.
And they also rose up and revolted against the plantation owners, and they organized with the other Black indentured and enslaved folks. And that's when they started creating like the system that we would now consider as like racialized segregation and power. And it's like you get symbolic power only and no fucking benefits, like no material improvement in your life, but they're so sold on this like state of delusion that is race and racism. So
like why hitch a ride to something that doesn't even actually benefit you? It's like unreal. It's like unreal to me. It's unreal to be a woman and be like, okay, Donald, you're the guy for me. Really? Because he's the most rapey piece of shit.
Except the bubble that is America, the bubble that is the world, everything in it is set up to tell you that that's the way things are.
Yeah, that's how men are. That's how life is. And you're absolutely right. It's a complete...
Which really...
Oh, go ahead. I was going to say I watched an interesting... I like those true crime things and just talking about like the lens of being a woman versus being a man. Like I watched, it's called The Ripper, and it's about the serial killer in England who killed 13 women. But it was different than those true crime shows where it really focused on feminism and the fact that the police were only viewing the victims as prostitutes, and any victim who wasn't a prostitute, they would disregard because it didn't fit into their narrative that this serial killer hated prostitutes. So if a non-sex worker was attacked, they would be like, oh, it was someone else. It wasn't the serial killer, even though it 100% was. And so it's just interesting to watch one of these shows from the lens of all the reporters reporting on this were all men at the time, because they really didn't have female reporters in the 70s and 80s. All the police were men. And just like how they literally ignored facts and victims' accounts if it didn't fit like their very narrow view that women shouldn't be walking at night. Because if you walk at night, it's going to happen.
You're going to be a prostitute who gets killed.
Right.
Yeah.
And this like same type of inability to think critically is the reason why like not only white supremacy prospers, but this new kind of neo-fascist Trumpism, like the conspiracy theories are like
next level.
Yeah, because
disproven by the places they used to say had the facts. So it's like it keeps getting.
But here's the thing, right? Like this is like Foucauldian truth power shit right here. Like it's like grad school level. Like, where it's like the ability to define truth is a power, right? Yes. So it's like you have delegitimized all the sources of information that are based on like material reality of like this is a shirt, it's blue, these are headphones, they're white, right? Yes. And I'm telling you, but then you could be like, how do you really know that though? And
it's
like,
photoshopped.
Yeah, but
Fake
it's like
news. That's
the kind of thing where I'm like, I cannot even begin to fathom how to unpack that.
I
it's nonpartisan too, because the conspiracy thing for even to use the vaccine as an example, like friends who I consider to be more, I don't know, well-read are sending me things that like the vaccine for COVID makes you go sterile. And it's like, guys, come on.
Come the fuck on. Why would that have anything?
Can we do better? This website is a blog.
It's a mommy blog, and it's not, there's no moms. Like,
let's do better, guys.
Yeah, it's like, don't do it.
It's just the misinformation thing. It's just rampant, even, from our parents.
But that's a key to fascism. I mean, that's really like, there's a book, I think it's like 100 steps to 100 ways to push against fascism. And it's like, don't allow the truth to be determined by one source, or don't allow the truth to be said it's not the truth, or don't allow truth to be taken from the general populace or whatever. Like I'm not wording it right, and that's why I was scrambling over here, because I was looking at my books, and They're all magazines. So it's cool. I'm smart. But my thing is,
it's on Cosmos from 1995.
Graphic novels. Okay. Anyway, and can you tell I want to travel? See, like the bucket list of adventures.
Oh,
but anyway,
honestly.
anyway, my thing is like, and there's a lot of really great graphic novels actually here. I'm working on one that's But my point is,
wait.
Oh yeah, we'll talk. But my anti-fascist book is not here. But I was reading it. I always look at it and check in, and you can see the tactics of fascism and like truth. One of the things is making truth like, what is truth though?
Yeah, fake news.
It's one of the huge things about it. And so yeah, that's utterly terrifying, and you're absolutely correct. Truth has been, what is truth now? It's a word that now, before just 5 years ago, I would think, well, the truth needs to come out. Well, I'm like, yeah, I'm saying what has been studied scientifically or what has been proven now in court. How many times now that there wasn't a rigged election? But yet that's not enough, because that's not the truth that certain people do not want to hear. But that's not what truth is, unfortunately. But when the global lexicon changes, fascism is rampant. That's a bad sign that we are in that space, and really bad.
It's bad. It's scary, and it makes me afraid for like the next few weeks and after, because, and you know, the sad fact of that is that it makes utter sense for everything about our country, right? Like the whole like, this isn't who we are, or like we're better than this. We're not better than this. No. Do you want to ask like indigenous people who were genocided if we're better than this? We are not. We're just
we have in camps now, like literally, like in reservations. Like, come on.
It's the same thing. It's like, we are totally okay with this type of behavior being part of America when it's part of our foundation, when it's about displacing indigenous people, when it's about enslaving folks, when it's about interning folks, when it's about putting kids in cages. We're just disgusted that now it's at the point where it's at the door of our Senate, you know? And that's
yikes. Yeah.
And even knowing all that shit, even reading the books about like how racialized terrorism has been woven into our fabric, I am surprised by how shocked and disgusted I am. Because right, like to see somebody climbing over the Senate gallery, I'm like, I literally,
WTF, mate.
I worked for a member of Congress because I believed in the process of legislation to help liberate people. It's the only reason I did it. And I'm like, you don't give a fuck. You're literally shitting on the dais of the thing you say you're patriotic about. You're not fucking homie, but you're also like, ugh.
It's confusing. It's like the American flag's supposedly sacred or whatever, but then you carry in the Confederate flag and then you use the flag to smack things, and it's just all confusing because it's all bullshit. It doesn't make any sense.
It's not the first time the literal actual flag has been wielded as a weapon. It also happened in Boston when they were trying to integrate schools and busing folks in like the 80s, right? It's like, white people, stop it.
Why people? Yeah. W-I-Y. Yeah, anyway, my point is caucasity.
Wait, do you know about white people though?
I do, absolutely do.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like I know
many
too
white
much about
people
them.
things. Yeah.
Okay.
It's also
W-I-Y. Never mind. Yeah, it's just
all the people who were like law and order, and like
but not now.
But
shit in the walls,
radio silence. Like I said to my parents, not to just call out so many of my family members on this podcast. I said to my parents, I'm like, have you heard from XYZ this week? And they're like, no. When normally, like my family, we all call each other. I call my parents every day. They have other relatives who call them every day. Radio silence this week.
Right. Oh, sometimes people ask me what to do and what is to be done. And there are like so many things to do that it's like sometimes overwhelming. But if I could, I've already recommended some books. If I could recommend a strategy for action to confront white supremacy, it is to follow the organizing of Black women, to read the works of Black women, because they are pretty much all the time inherently intersectional. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing about like what it's going to take to win. And I don't know win what it will take to liberate and stop oppressing all people is that we can't fucking leave anyone out. Right? Like
straight up.
There are literally more of us who are part of oppressed classes than there are ones who have like no form of oppression. So if we were all to work in consort and organize, we would topple this shit. And that's exactly why they are fucking rabidly killing people, because they know their shit is done. It's not an accident.
It's desperate.
They knew they were going to lose. They knew they were going to lose in the Senate. They knew that they were going to lose power. They knew Georgia was going to happen because it happened everywhere the fuck else. So, and of course, when you have the whole entirety of the Democratic organizing apparatus on one state versus the whole nation, they're going to fucking win, just like they did everywhere else. So I don't think that it's accidental that this happened on the timing that it did. I think it was specifically meant to terrorize and undercut the important work of Black women organizers to empower fucking marginalized people. And that's also like that. It breaks my heart to see what happened there. And it's not lost on me that they are doing this because it's working. And just to draw a parallel between the Capitol invasion and this is a hot but real take. The same shit happened at Second City when they got called out for being racist. Their fucking owner was like, I'm going to let this theater fold. Rather than change and take accountability and do better.
Did that happen?
Yeah, it happened. Oh, wait, I might be skewing information. This could be fake news. Somebody fact check me and put it in the comments. Let me know.
Wait, what, like recently that happened?
Yeah, during the pandemic when there was like...
I
didn't even hear that.
Yeah. I did hear about this, but I looked into some things, but I would love to hear more of what you're saying, and then we'll look at it.
Please fact check me. But from what I understand that happened, like there was an organized letter, much in the same way that there have been in different institutional spaces of like, here are the forms of racism that have transpired in your institution. And this person was like, fuck it, the pandemic is hard. I quit. And it's like, rather than invest in the thing you built and like transform it and make it inclusive and better, you would rather take a dump and set it on fire. Like that's not a joke. Like this is what they're doing at the Capitol. It's like
that's literally what just happened. Yeah, it's like let's spread shit and break shit because we're not happy with that we didn't win.
I didn't know that. That's insane.
That's real. But here's the other thing that I know about myself and how I feel about like the threat of violence. And I recognize that it is real. I recognize that it's disproportionately wielded against brown and Black people, but that because I'm perceived as Asian, I may be less of a threat. And yet I am still subject to brutality in various forms. But I know that even with the violence, it's like they could be as violent as they wanted and they still wouldn't succeed because what is at stake, what people gain from liberation is so powerful that they haven't been able to stop it for 400 years. Like, it's like nobody gave up after 400 years of bullshit. No. People are like fucking mobilized and in touch. And like one of the beautiful things, maybe I'll like use this as a note to leave on. Like the pandemic sucks, we know this. But one of the most beautiful things is the community of BIPOC folks that I've been able to find. And I've been part of a BIPOC Sangha, which is a Buddhist meditation group. And we're working through the chapters and meditations in my grandmother's hands. And one of the most recent things was a meditation on the phrase or the idea of, I am my ancestors' wildest dreams.
Oh, and that's wonderful.
Yeah. And like that phrase in and of itself, but it really hammered home for me that it was like, I'm on a Zoom call with people from 4 different time zones and 5 different countries talking about unpacking racialized trauma in our lives and how to act compassionately towards ourselves and maintain our emotional and physical health so that we can do the work of liberation every day. I can't imagine that anyone in my ancestry ever had the time or ability to do that work, let alone to be connected over Zoom with people from all over the world with different experiences of oppression and coming together to heal them together. And that's what gives me fucking immense hope, where it's like, they have managed in a lot of different ways to isolate us and separate us, but we can also find these like really beautiful communal spaces when we are allowed to, when we're making those spaces. And that is a bubble I will protect forever.
That's
like,
beautiful.
I will fight for that bubble. And also join Circle Comedy Theater, because this is the type of shit I'm trying to do there.
Yeah, that just made me cry.
Did you really cry?
Yeah.
Okay, girl, it's okay to cry, because sometimes that's just like, energy and emotion that you need to get out of your body. And that's kind of like, I've been crying all week about this shit.
Yeah, I mean, this is...
Honestly, I'm just like so amazed and so proud that you're like one of my girlfriends, because I think you're awesome.
Oh, thank you. I love you, girl.
Nam Yoho Rengenkyo. Dominique.
Sarah's like, I like you too.
Oh no, I'm good. I mean, I do, absolutely. No, this has been phenomenal. This is so great.
Really great.
I think I just know, like, Dominique, I just know you well enough to know that, like, what you do, like, is also emotionally draining for you. Like,
sure.
But still so important. And it's like, we all have to continue to do stuff, even if it's emotionally draining. And I think that, like you saying, there are so many white people that maybe see a upsetting video and they can just be like, well, we don't know the full story or whatever it is. Like, so many white people are able to compartmentalize and push it away. And I think we all need to let the last 4 years, honestly, and longer than that, our entire history as Americans, and really just take that in and figure out how we all can be better and how we can try to change the people around us who maybe aren't ready to change yet. Yeah. And keep grinding down on those people to have conversations with them or push them into uncomfortable places, or maybe buy them one of those books that you recommended.
Yeah.
You know? So I just commend you for doing this stuff, even though it is your job when you're at school and you're being paid for it, but it's also not your job and you're still doing it, you know?
So thank you.
I wouldn't call it my job so much as like my soul's purpose.
Yeah.
Sure
right.
Enough.
Like, that's the reality of it, is like, I am a Mexican and Filipino girl who experienced racism at the hands of white folks all the time, as well as people within my own communities. Mm-hmm. So it made me really understand quite early on that I was like, if they're saying this about Mexican folks because they don't see me as Mexican, so they're able to say this, I know that's not true about Mexican people. So what else are they saying about and when they're saying this about Asian people, I know that's not true about Asians. So if they're saying this about me and it's not true, then everything that they're saying about Black people is also not true. And like, there's that level of needing to be able to imagine that things you're told that are true are not, right? And also being able to say, I don't know, like whatever low or whatever I've been told I've been capable of, I've always known that it's not true about me. And it is a matter of like my spirit surviving that I have to like do these things and learn these things and be able to say, no, that's not true. Otherwise it like just gets stuck inside and like, that doesn't serve me. That's not my bullshit. It's like this external shit that I experience. And then I have to like, it's my duty to not hold on to it and to let go of it in a way that befits who I am. And maybe that's an essay. Maybe it's a comedy sketch.
Yeah. It's whatever way you want to express it. It's any way you want to do it. It's any way you want to fucking do it.
Sometimes it's not an eloquent, just like, fuck you in the comment section. That's it.
Hell
fuck you, block. I think it's honestly like, but it's, you're an artist and every artist has their drive and their inspiration. And and it's beautiful that is a life's purpose that you're taking on for our community and for people outside of our community too, because
and it's also just selfishly mine. Cause I'm like, I want my
I love that you keep saying that, and I'm into that, because literally that is the point, is that you, regardless of your motives, it's for you, because it is about you, how you feel and how your experience and things, you know, and the truth. And honestly, that's important. And it's, I think that's so important.
And it's also for the members of the community who are like, maybe they're not Black, but they're like, I understand that this is also for me too. Right. Because when we end racism, and we will, my life and my children's lives will be better.
Everyone's lives. I just don't know people. It's everyone. Yeah. Literally.
But I also have like nephews who are children, you know, Lindsay with like Nolan, like I see the next generation that's like so beautiful. Even with like the college students I work with are like, they're so much cooler than me. They're like so dope. Like, can I be your friend on TikTok? No, you're not even on TikTok. That's old. I don't know. I would never. You're like,
I'm like savage.
That was like
Classy,
12 years.
Bougie. Ratchet. Yeah, it's totally.
I can't
Acting
do that dance.
Stupid. What's happening? But yeah, I'm with it. Thank you, Dominique. It's fucking rocks.
We can do this. We can do it.
And I hope people listening, you know, even if we have a lot of people that listen to this, and maybe some people, and I'm sure, have heard things that they felt some sort of way. But the thing is like, that's the whole point, is you need to reflect, listen. You need to listen. And then you need to assess and educate yourself on certain things. I think you absolutely should. I think everyone should. Mm-hmm. And if you've made it this far in the podcast and you're and you were mad a little bit, dope, awesome. Now get some reading done and just think about some stuff. Yeah, that's all.
Right. I think the thinking is the part of it, right? It's just imagine if this could be true, what else could be true?
Yeah, and that can be horrifying. You know, I remember going to college and realizing that as a woman, I'm not really like a person in a lot of ways. And I was like, what? You know, it like I was this, and I knew that was a little girl when weird comments would happen. We know all about that. But like, it is interesting when your world when you start to see that there's an injustice here, and then there's even more, and then you start to explore that. Of course, it's a mind fuck, but that's how do we get better unless we become educated and learn about all the things that have happened, that are happening, and that have gotten us to where we are today. And how can we not be a part of that?
Exactly. And this is when allyship moves from purely a gesture, right? What we really need is like the education and action. And sometimes the action is internal without that learning. Sometimes that action is a conversation. Sometimes that action is like reflection on self. And
or donate to something. If you have $20, like throw it out in an organization that needs that.
Share that organization. Tell people to, you know, like.
Yeah. Allyship is not a one-time thing. Allyship is an unfolding process. And again, allies are great. I will fuck with some co-conspirators, right? I'm like, tell me how you.
Like, I'm done with allies.
Yeah. Like, come be a body block at the protest if you can, or like, you know, figure other stuff out. But it's been so great, lovely to see you on
thank you for being here. This was fantastic. I'm really honored to have you here. So
you're so awesome.
Happy to meet you.
Thanks. Nice to meet you.
And fucking hot. Let's not lie. Like,
let's not
you are so sexy.
Visual medium, y'all. Come on.
You guys can't see this, but I'm wearing an evening gown.
Oh, they will. Oh, I mean, yes.
Oh shit.
We'll put that in. You can't see this, but this Zoom recording will never be.
No, I forgot you're gonna use the video.
Not gonna lie, like, honestly, Dominique's husband is pretty cute too.
Oh damn! Let's get him on the screen. Let's go. No,
he looks like a fucking K-drama actor. I'm like, you are blowing up my spot right now. Like, I can't take you anywhere, dude. Women will come up to him, and this has happened. Men and women are just like, they don't assume we're together. I'm like, okay, thank you. Fine. I get it.
No. You guys are so cute together.
Yeah.
To me, you both look famous.
Oh. Thank you.
Same. I haven't seen him yet, but I believe he will too.
I'd call him in.
We're going to pull a photo of him and also tag it in the podcast post.
Yeah. And be like, famous.
You can get it from his website. I'll send you the link. He's got a headshot.
Oh, see she's in. Yeah, she's in. She's a co-conspirator. I'm in. Let's do it.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast, and hopefully we plugged all your social and we'll tag you on Instagram so everyone can find you. And we love you. We appreciate you. Thank you for being here.
Adore you. Thank you so much.
Have a good night, and I appreciate you all. Take care.
And I'll let Sarah do our outro.
There's an outro? Oh, yeah.
Is there? COVID, like, we haven't done this in so long.
What is the outro? Because, like, I know my outro from our first one.
You just say bye. We say bye.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry.
Can I join this?
Yeah.
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.